Crit status active. Orbital status standby.
What is up, Guardians? This is Cosmodrome Radio, broadcasting on all frequencies from here all the way to Venus, because Venus is not here anymore and I miss it. But it's fine. Don't forget that you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible, all those great places. You listen to iHeartRadio too. And even I gotta figure out how to do it, but like every radio station keeps telling me there's a way for people to use a talkback feature and like send in questions that way. But as everyone knows, along with following us on Twitter, you can always comment on our TikToks and send in listener questions, which we actually have a few tonight. So make sure you want your voice heard if you want to like be contributing to the show, and we will be opening our Discord soon to make that more accessible for everyone to be a part of the community. So get ready for that. Okay, yeah, I'm over here like sipping on my bang, and I'm just excited to be alive right now. My name is Bang. If you want to sponsor the podcast, hit me up. But my name is Panda the Paladin.
Oh my god.
To my left, we have the man who is still not coping well with the loss of his Loreley Splendor home. We have Tola here. How you doing?
I'm doing a lot better coping with it. I'm actually trying out different builds. Panda's been like, nah, you should just put on hot pants, and I'm like,
okay, no. Let's actually have this conversation. So me and Tola go to the tower yesterday, and after we ran the story mission. And he's like, hey, I need some help with a build for Hallowfire Heart and Vex, because he finally...
Well, he laughed at me the last time I told him I was using Hallowfire
Well, it's because Hallowfire Heart was one of the exotics similar to Eternal Warrior that didn't really get a buff with 3.0. So I was like, bro, just put on Phoenix Cradle. Like, I just made a whole build around Phoenix Cradle. I can send it to you on Dim. We'll make it work. It's fine. And he's like, no. And I'm like, why? Like... why you're gonna run Hallowfire Heart and endgame content for GMs this season? He's like, I don't know. I'm figuring it out. I'm working on different builds. I'm like, what's really going on? He's like, I'm being really petty. I just don't like the way Phoenix Cradle looks. And I'm like,
it bothers me.
What?
It bothers me to
like,
no end.
Like, I was proud of him for at least admitting he was being petty, but it was the fact that this man really is like, yo, these pants is ugly and I don't want to wear them. And I'm like, really? Of all the reasons, like...
But Phoenix Cradle look pretty good in my opinion.
I agree with you. Like Phoenix Cradle was one of the first exotics I got when I came back to D2, because when I came back around Shadowkeep, and them things go hard. Like, especially even now with the buff they got with 3.0, they still go hard. So I agree. Yeah, but to over your hating on Phoenix Cradle for no reason. And they get a cool Siva ornament. Like,
they
just hate.
I love the effect. I love how they work. It's just I had to find a whole way to make it work with my color scheme. And yes, I've been trying out new exotics for my... Yes, I've been working on a Hallowfire Heart build, because I like using I like Solar Titan. I know there's not a lot there, but I still just like using that subclass. And Lorelei just made that subclass a lot more fun. And so now it's trying to find out what can produce that same level of fun for me.
He's trying to fill the void that can't be filled.
Exactly. I'm trying to fill that void back.
But was Loreley actually fun?
Yes, it was.
You should have been here last week, Solid. It was actually a really good conversation.
It was really fun. I really enjoyed that exotic. It just...
You can still use it. You just got to build more into it.
Oh yeah, I can still use it, but it's like, why not try and use Hallowfire Heart? Why not
Hallowfire Heart is a lesser version of Heart of Inmost Light.
Exactly. So then it turns into using Heart of Inmost Light.
Okay.
Can we
we got this. Speaking of which, to my right, we have the hunter who is torn on a weekly basis, whether to protect Ido or simp for Resrax. We have Prismatic. How you doing this evening?
Torn? There doesn't have to be torn. I could do both.
I don't know. After this past week, man,
I haven't done the story yet.
Ooh, you in trouble. You didn't do your homework. Ooh.
You didn't do your homework.
I kind of had a lot going on this week.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
You're fine.
But how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good though. Work is going well. I'm trying to balance all 3 characters, getting stuff done for once instead of just abandoning the 2 for most of the season.
Balance.
But,
What's that?
Good
Oh my god, same.
most of the time.
And then we have the man with the gorgeous fro that I wish I could emulate. Dude who has better jokes than me on a daily basis on TikTok, and I'd be hella jealous. Who's
Stop
finally
it.
graced us with his presence. Like the person you would never dream who's a hunter, man. And I'm very sad about this. TikToker and streamer, Solidx, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Also, just solid. I don't know why I hate that I couldn't put just solid, but you know, Twitch hates me because some random guy on Twitch been named Solid for the longest. He haven't streamed for 6 years. Twitch, let me get the name, please.
Maybe you should do something fancy with it, like Solid Hunter or something like that, like something cool with it.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But how you doing, man? Shout your shit out. Make yourself known.
I don't like that.
Pull up TikTok. I'm gonna do it.
Oh god, no.
But no, it's cool. Like, no, we will link Solid stuff in the description of like where you can find him on TikTok and Twitch. That way you know where he at. But no, so we'll jump right into the main topic because there isn't a whole lot to talk about, but there is some stuff going on in the discourse. The TWAB was hella light, but there is one thing that I want to talk about, like in the middle of the TWAB, that I'm annoyed by later on, that I didn't actually put in the agenda, which I find hilarious. But so the first thing is Solid's main thing that he wanted to talk about with the episode was the new light experience. And now that King's Fall has come out, I figured it was a good time to touch on this because right now there is a very, I would say limited, but like not a whole lot new lights can do. And from a streamer standpoint, I want to get your feedback on like how you think new lights are doing when it comes to getting into the game.
Okay, so lately since I've been streaming a lot more, I've been noticing new lights don't know what the heck to do. They're all lost, and they come to me for asking what to do, and I'm just as confused as them. I don't know where they should start. Sometimes I tell them to run strikes. I do not tell them to do gambit. I'm sorry. I refuse to say anybody do gambit. I can't do that to nobody. But if they enjoy PvP, they can go in there and surf for a little bit, you know, whatever. But behind all that, it's just I don't know what the new lights can like do that I get them caught up. But other than just run strikes, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, like we touched on it before, but there's like other than the Xiaohan thing, which is like say what you want about Navoda and the fact that like she pretty much is just a reskin of Omnigul. Like it very much feels as if the Bungie didn't really know what to do with the new light experience because they gutted so much content. And like Toll has his conspiracy theory about why they gutted all that content, especially now that they said that like they like straight up said we're not vaulting any more content. But in general, it really feels like either like, hey, we're gonna build an LFG system into the game in Lightfall or like halfway through Lightfall, but there's not really a path for new lights in the game, and it really feels like that like new lights are struggling, and I don't really know how to really fix them because yeah, once you get through the opening mission and like strikes, it's pretty much you either play Vault of Glass or King's Fall or you buy an expansion, and I don't know how I feel about that.
No actual like campaign content for them to do. Like I'm going to use Warframe as an example. There's still story stuff to do in that free to play game. So it's like they could have just slapped the Red War campaign in there and call it a day. Like what they had before, just put the Red War campaign, the first 2 expansions, call it a day, and then.
I mean, we talked about what I was saying before of if they would like do a key system or at least change Red War, Curse of Osiris and Warmind into like a mission based structure and just like chop it up a little bit and just make it so it's mission based, it would solve so many problems because unless they're gonna pay Bife to put Bife videos into the game, new lights just have nothing and it sucks. Like,
so like
you have no idea what's going on.
one of our clanmates, I was running through the story stuff with him, and I had to like stop and explain part of like what was going on in the story because he didn't understand what was going on.
That's
I'm
tragic.
sitting here
I-
having a lore freak out, and I'm like mid lore freak out, have to explain to him what's going on, and then continue my lore freak out.
I had to do that a little bit today, helping one of our clanmates with their first clear of Grasp of Avarice and just talking about what happened in the game and whatnot. Not exactly
Yeah.
new light, but just the absence of explanation of what's going on.
And
I
it's
still don't know
like,
what happened to Grasp Everest.
see, Grasp is a really cool dungeon. It feels like it's supposed to be a like homage to the Loot Cave and then make a whole like backstory behind it. But it feels so like in a pocket dimension because how in the world is this all underground in the Cosmodrome? Like it feels so weird how all of this is just underground in the Cosmodrome.
Because it is.
It's
Like
like
it's,
one part has a skybox. You can just look up at the sky.
right, and then there's like a factory somewhere in there that we've never seen before. And then there's like a giant skull cave that feels more pirate themed than the pirate theme season.
We ain't gonna talk about
Yeah.
that.
Bro, I will die on the hill that Sparrow mission music and like the whole like Grasp of Avarice theme music is more pirate themed than what we got going on. And it's so frustrating.
I don't know.
I'm
I like what
enjoying
we
the
got
current
going on.
season stuff.
I like
So
it.
I mean, cut you off. Go ahead.
I like the pirate season. Yeah, there's the season there. It just feels like they left Catch Crash out there because it's like, oh hey, the weekly story mission.
They made you do it the first week, and then after that, it's like, it's there.
Right, like they kind of didn't do what they did with Splicer, where you had to do both activities to accomplish the story thing. Now they're just like, just do the other half of the story content. It's like, okay.
No, but you do have to do Catch Crash to get map fragments.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here at max map fragments, like.
Right, like if you do the season pass, you have max fragments. I haven't touched Catch Crash in 3 weeks because
I literally just want to go play a master. For.
I was like, we can do that tonight. No, I'll be down for that. But like, yeah, no, just in general, it just feels like, but back to the point, yeah, like there's nothing for new lights to do. Like,
even the
I understand Bungie has like it's on its way, but even when they're like, hey, there's gonna be like a mission system and like a timeline of things that they need to do. What's the timeline gonna be? Like, do the Shaohan stuff and then do a strike and then go back to Shaohan and do more strikes? Like, I don't. They really need to just rebuild the concept of what's going on for new lights.
Maybe they could just give them Season of the Risen. They could just give them that content to run. We've already ran it. It's 2 seasons later, and you still have to buy the deluxe edition to run that stuff.
Right.
So why not just 2 seasons later drop the seasonal content, or a season later make it free for everybody?
The one thing I wish they would do. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Solid.
The one thing I wish they would do, like teach the new lights how to make bills. Period. There's a lot of people who don't know how to make bills.
Right. And like that's actually a really good point because especially now with them rolling out the 3.0 stuff and like implementing the idea that different fragments can be able to take away stat points. Like I don't know how many times that I'll just forget that like Stasis Titans have the resilience and recovery of gods, and then I'll have like high resilience and high recovery pieces, and I'll hit like 160 Brazil, and I'm like, the fuck? So it's like it's one of those situations where that like we're currently in the clan working on build classes because they make getting certain mods so hard that they openly admitted like they nerfed certain mods because they were hard to get. If they would just make a better system for new lights to gain those mods, it would make build crafting so much easier. Like I even had one of our clan mates this week ask me to help him with the a Saint 14 Helm bubble build, and I'm over here having to like have him screenshot his mods because I don't know what he has available. I don't know what I could even work with because Bungie doesn't make it accessible for people. Like what would be a really good quality of life change is if they do what like the Gift of Thunder thing they did this season, but rather than that, just start dropping mods with random pieces of armor. Like go back to that kind of thing, because I don't know how many times I wish like we could just give different people Well of Tenacity or Protective Light. Like it would save so much, or Well of Life. Well of Life and Well of Tenacity are the two most important mods in the game right now. And like
Oh, yeah.
nobody can get them half the time.
Or
So-
just throw them in the kiosk and just have you use like legendary shards to buy them. That's something they could do.
That'd be a great idea. Honestly, I just solved it. Especially if they finally do bring back the Black Armory weapons, have a kiosk in 801's area that gives motherfuckers the mods.
Yes.
Like, that would be genius. Just make it like simplistic. Just like say, hey, the loom's over here, the Black Armory stuff's on the other side, and then like in the like left side is Black Armory, right side is the loom, and then the back area is for mods, like a mod kiosk. That way, 801's job is still there. We don't have to give all the mods back to Banshee, but like it gives everybody a way to gain these mods that are so hard to get, because we're dealing with situations still where I know for a fact there's like newer lights that are being kicked from raids for dying too much. And it's like, it's not their fault. They just don't know how to build. Like, you have people running into trials, for God's sake. Last week, when trials came back, there were people coming into trials, like they just hopped out the grave and had a talk with Shao Han, and they got the approval from Saint to go into trials, and they had like straight, like no mod. It was like,
I thought it was a level thing before you could go into trials. They just throwing new lights in trials?
well, like it's like you have to be like the minimum, like it's like the soft cap of like 1560 or something like that. But like you have people going into trials with no mods on, or PvE mods for that matter, and having no idea what they're doing. So it's like, it's very disheartening to watch people suffer like this, because Bungie's not making tools for them. They're expecting the content creators to do that.
It also used to be that you had to be a certain Crucible requirement before you could go into trials. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but
I don't believe so. I think the only requirements are you have to meet soft cap and you have to own the newest expansion.
okay.
I think so. Yeah, that they even said last week in the TWAB that they were super proud of the fact they added that to trials, which was like trying to curb the like people just making fresh accounts to go back in once they're banned, which was stopping you by having to make you buy the new expansion. And when you have to keep buying Witch Queen or Beyond Light over and over again, your pocket's gonna get real empty real quick. So like that was a clever way to stall that. But like, I'm feel pretty lost for new lights right now, because it just, if anything, we might need to make like a community resource of what to do for, because they ain't got nothing. It's like, hey,
there's so many problems with the new light experience that it's, no matter how many things we suggest, there's still so many issues that it's like, what do we do? How do we solve this issue? Other than completely reworking it from the ground up.
I mean, Solid, similar to us, how like you have to like people come into your chat. What do you say to people? Not 9 times out of 10, like beyond just running strikes. Like how do you go about trying to help people with builds?
Ooh, that's a ooh.
Same,
Honestly,
dog. Same.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't help people with builds because I know they don't have everything I have. I could suggest someone to have a particular build, and then they get everything together. I'm like, oh, do you got this mod? Nope. I'm like, what? Can't use the build because it required this.
Right. It just feels disheartening. You can't help motherfuckers like this.
Just give us a kiosk, please. if one lonely person can think of this, I know Bungie can. I know they can.
Right. And this even goes into a discussion about what happened this past week at Reset, where there was part of the quest for this week was to kill 50 champions to progress the weekly story quest. And because of complaints from the community, from casual players, they had to literally complete it for you, despite there being some people who completed it like barely, or like because I remember freaking D Flawless made a video where like he was just straight like covered in sweat, having just did it, and then Bungie's like, "Hey, we completed it for you." It's like, "But I just did it." But like, then there's the people who are straight up just like insulting the casuals for saying you couldn't kill 50 champions. What's wrong with you? And I'm like,
I freaking hate elitists.
and it's a really weird situation because I don't want to give them credit, but it's one of those situations where it's like I want to be like, can we cut the 50 into like 25 or 10? That way it's a goal they can reach in like a lost sector or something like that. Because like there's some people up until like I think we had a couple people recently in the clan who just didn't know what a champion mod was. So it's like in those circumstances, being able to teach people that what champions are, it kind of like I understand having to put the work in from the elitist perspective, but there's some people like I just said, like they don't know what a freaking champion bot is.
I didn't realize that was for the story mission. I thought that was a new seasonal challenge. So I was like, what? Why did we have to auto-complete that? 50 champions over one season's not friggin' hard. Like, what the hell? Never mind.
See, that's what I said. And then told me that it was a story mission.
Okay. Yeah. 50 might be pretty steep for the weekly story mission. But, I mean... And again, I'm also very much a person who's like, you gotta work for it. You have to play the game to get the stuff. So I would be stuck on that if it was still the full 50 because I haven't played a whole lot this week.
I feel myself caught in the middle where it's like we're starting to become content creators. We have the ability to be in the middle of it where like we come from a casual background, but we do grind the game a lot. So we understand both sides of the coin, but at the same time, like, because it's like, you have to be able to do some of the work to put in the gameplay, but like at the same time, you don't know what someone's circumstances, so the elitists need to shut up. So it's like, but like because at the same time, there's some casual players who get real high up on their horse about like they want the game to be as easy as streamlined as possible. Like because you have me and Toll who like streamlined like steamrolled this week's story mission and like got to the cutscene really quickly. But then, like, you have people who prefer that kind of gameplay. But then we're like, yo, we want a bit of a challenge. Like, we get like a master pirate hideout or something. Like, but then you have people who complain about that.
I want that.
Yeah. So it's like, and like that's why last week when we talked about the Master King's Fall and prepping for that, we had to legit be like, yo, we're about to put on the elitist dado cap for a second. But there's a reason behind it, and we're going to explain why, because we don't want to piss people off. Because sometimes content ain't for you yet. You have to get to that level to do that content. But at the same time, and I agree with what Toll said, having to be a story mission was a lot.
I really think that instead of trying to put the story mission behind that 50 champion cap, the 50 champions should have been a seasonal challenge, and then they could lower the number down, but then if it took you guys no time at all to get to the cutscene, like they should have added more to the story.
Well, here's the funniest part: they recycled the recycled Mars Lost Sector map.
I loaded in with when I was running this guy helping. I was running with a clanmate through the story stuff, like I mentioned earlier. We load in, and I'm sitting there like, they just didn't do that, did they? And I'm like, he's like, what? This was the same one from 2 weeks ago. This is the same Mars
Lost Sector.
Lost Sector. It's just, brother, what are we doing?
What
are we doing, Bungie?
Is it a different pirate captain map, or
yes, it's a different pirate captain in name, but it's still just an Elixir captain.
It's literally, and it's not even that. It's the Mars Lost Sector that they reskinned from 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't care if it was like a different Lost Sector, but it's like you're reusing the one you just reused.
Yeah,
like you have so many options from Forsaken, from Mars. Like you had from Io, Titan. Like you had options.
Ooh, Io Lost Sector being put on a crater would be kind of
exactly.
Like you have options to use. Please use them.
I was just wondering because I know that I think according to the Triumphs, there's like 3 different catch crash bosses, so I didn't know if maybe they were doing that and just repeating the same cycle over and over again.
I mean, that would make sense, but it's still like I remember. Like, at least you could say with the like season of the Splicer, they gave you like 4 different or like 5 or 6 different challenges or like different maps, and then they're like, now we're gonna make them all Taken themed. It was like you actually had a variety for about like 6 weeks, and then they rotated the next thing in. So like it felt kind of weird for them to just be like, hey, you know that Mars Lost Sector we just turned into a whole different map? Yeah, you're gonna do that again. It just felt kind of off.
But you also have to realize the amount of the player base that have no idea that it's recycled content.
That's so depressing.
Just saying.
It's so depressing.
Also, if you want to be really depressed, when I was helping the people earlier with the Gallahorn, we were hanging out in the Cosmodrome, and they were talking about like, man, why don't they have us do more with public events? Like that would give me so much more drive to actually come and do them. And I had to turn on my mic and go, back in my day, there was this thing called the Flashpoint, where one planet you went and did public events, and it gave you a pinnacle for the week.
Bro, I missed
I
that so much.
They were like,
I really missed that though.
Bro, honestly, like that made me want to do like public events. Like, you know how many times they keep like, especially this season, where they want you to go back to like the Cosmodrome or the EDZ last season, or like during Season of the Risen, or like now they're like go to Nessus. Like this week, I finally did the second treasure beacon, and Toll took me to a random cave on Nessus where like a pyramidion inside, and I'm like, I don't think anybody's ever been in here.
And then I took him off to where you had to go for the last part, and he's like, "Oh yeah, huh? This is over here."
Right. It feels like it's like I would flat out say, out of all the maps that you could have like thrown into the darkness and like left one, you could have easily said screw Nessus and left us Io. Especially when you had Season of the Arrivals have the weird ass like darkness tree.
No one would have been upset.
My reasoning is like they had that whole darkness tree in Season of Arrivals, and then they tied it into Season of the Hunt a little bit, and then they just referenced it in the Witch Queen campaign and last season. And it's like no one knows what that tree is. Freaking, I can't think of her damn.
Eris.
Fucking Eris. Yeah, like no one knows what that tree is, Eris. We spent a whole season with you there, Eris, but like that tree is gone, and it's like, we don't need Nessus. I would take Io 100%, because at least with Io, we could have kept Whisper of the Worm.
No, but Nessus is so beautiful. No, but the Kaido came and fucked it up though.
Yeah, Kaido kind of fucked it up.
Kaido, we could have done the whole Kaido thing on Io, and it would have been so much cooler because she's like attacking a planet of the light.
Yeah, and like Io had Cabal too, so like you easily could have just friggin' thrown the giant tank on the Io. It'd have been fine.
The reason they might have gotten rid of Io was because a lot of Rasputin's bunkers were there. So with them like skull punching Rasputin into non-existence, it was like, hey, we're just gonna throw this in the trash for a second. Also, bye, Asher.
But Jump 4 is still in map rotation. It shouldn't be there.
Like that's what kills me.
We
is
wouldn't
like
have any Gambit maps.
Man, don't even get me started on Gambit.
Oh, that whole simulation drama.
Bro, like that's what even gets me more mad, where they'll say like Crucible and Gambit maps are simulations, but then you'll have situations like, hey, you know that Dreaming City map y'all made for Gambit Prime specifically that y'all just don't use anymore? Can we have that back? Like y'all don't use that, and like that wouldn't even be a simulation. The Dreaming City is still forever here because you're not vaulting content anymore. Can we have that back? No? Okay, cool, whatever, I guess. Like it just feels super weird.
If the simulation wants to get rid of that Crucible Titan map, I would not be sad.
Oh, the arcology?
Yes.
I don't like the arcology. The arcology's fun. we went in there with a squad of 9.
Period.
You don't like what?
You like Titan?
I did not like that planet. I hated that planet. Just so boring. Just waves. There's nothing exciting about it.
Being here from year one of Destiny, I got so tired of Titan so fast, and that's where everybody would go to grind shit out real quick. They're like, let's go to Titan. I'm like, oh, why? Please.
Exactly.
Anywhere else.
I think Titan used to annoy me because they randomly would put Zera on Titan, and I'm just like, where the fuck is he? Oh, he's in this random building over here in the corner. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But so yeah, no, it just.
Also, they got rid
But
of
no, I didn't really get.
They got rid of the one Titan strike. Why can't they get rid of the Crucible map? Savathun song.
Exactly.
We went in with a squad of 9.
You know, the big nightmare fucking Shrieker Nightfall that was just like, please, somebody kill
The
him.
worst. Fire
And they
team.
even referenced that freaking strike in the freaking Witch Queen campaign, which is so funny to me. But no, like in terms of the whole like completing the challenge thing, Toll, you really didn't speak on it. How did you feel about it from like a content
So,
creator?
I was just I was working on builds and clearing out my vault. I'm just chilling in the tower, and I just see it auto cleared from. I was like, huh, great! I don't have to go do that now. I don't gotta waste I don't have to waste my time killing 50 champions, which seemed a bit excessive. Like if it was like 30 champions, I'd be like, all right, but it was like 50 champions, and if you ran a master catch crash, it gave you more progress. But it's like, wasn't a big deal for me because I just got to go through the story stuff faster.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fair.
I missed it. It just auto completed for me because I was working.
You know, I was at work and it just came out of left field, and I straight up was just like, oh. And what made it funny was one of our clanmates had straight up just been grinding a law sector for a new warlock helmet, and they just finished it. Like it like right as that Bungie help thing came over the Twitter thing, I was like, here you go, guys. You don't have to do this. And she just goes, no. And I'm like, bro. Like it was so like depressing to watch that, because you do have those hardcore grinders that like aren't elitist about it, but like also who put the work in, and then there's the people who are like, oh, you can't do this, you need to get good, and I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up, like,
Bro,
it ain't like that.
I'm like, cool, I get to go do story. Like I'm just here for the lore, man.
Oh. As somebody who like sportingly has a Dark Souls tattoo on their leg and has beaten every Dark Souls game, whenever I hear "get good," I want to punch them in the face, because like anybody can beat that content. Like I have a Dishonored tattoo, a Bioshock tattoo, and a Dark Souls tattoo, and I can tell you firsthand, all 3 of those games on the hardest difficulty, especially Dark Souls because it has no difficulty. Like that is an accomplishment. You don't just say, "Oh, you can't do that. You need to get good." It's, hey, let me give you some tips because they're assholes. Like. That's right. What we need to start doing as a community. And like, that's why I love Solidx content, because this man be out here just grinding, helping motherfuckers.
But then I'll just look at some of our clanmates and be like, it's a skill issue. Like some of the people I play a lot with, and be like, it's a skill issue.
But see, even saying it's a skill issue, it's like, sometimes you don't want to say it because a skill issue has become an insult from the get good crowd. But so it's like you kind of have to balance it where you have to actually talk to people and help them.
Well,
rather than like just throwing like, oh, it's a skill issue, you're trash, like that kind of crap.
I use it as more of a joke to people I play with a lot.
Exactly.
I was told,
like, I straight up shout out All Might if you're listening. I used it with him a lot. I've been slowly putting it in my vocabulary. It's very funny when you miss a jump.
Oh god.
When you're jumping and you just don't mantle, and it's a skill issue.
In the distance, you just hear All Might, no.
But yo, Solid, speak on it for real.
You be out there grinding and helping the people.
I do, and it's like now I got 2 new friends that well, one, my homie Bob, he's new to the game. Well, he not really necessarily new. He's returning to the game because he haven't played since Vanilla D2. So slowly building him up, and like anytime he do anything like not on my level, I'm like, gotta get good, buddy. I'm sorry. And he complains when he see me killing everything in sight with my one of my favorite builds with Caliban's hand with my hunter. He like, nice. I want to be like you. I'm like, gotta get good. I'm sorry.
That's usually when I throw out the sucks to suck.
Well, I remember the first time that I took one of our Claymates Magister through freaking Shattered Throne, and she looks at me with Phoenix Cradle on, just standing in the throwaway. And like I made a TikTok out of it. Like I pulled like Fuego by the Cheetah Girls. I'm just standing here just eating all this damage with sunspots all
I
around me.
remember that.
And she's just like, "How are you doing that?"
I was there for that.
Oh yeah, you were. and she just got freaking smacked by a thrall, and I'm like, bro, like I'm just here. I'm living life. Like I can't die.
That was me, and that's me in Duality when I throw on Lorelei. It's just, yeah, okay, yeah.
Was.
Can we just talk
Sunspots
about
were-
duality for a hot second? I
Oh,
just
yeah,
want
sure.
to say, F that dungeon. I hate it, and I never want to run it again. Okay, I'm
Now,
done.
why? Can you speak on
Why?
why?
Like
It-
I'm a
it's buggy.
Duality guy.
As someone who also doesn't like duality, I need you to speak on this.
Okay, it's
Hurt.
buggy. It's too tedious. You gotta run, do this, do that, manage time. It's too much. It's too much for someone who brand new to the game. It is too much.
Light
See,
level.
my reason why I don't like duality is that for a dungeon, they flat out said, yo, unless you buy the deluxe edition of the game, it's going to cost you like $10, $15. They tied it really close to the seasonal lore of that season. So if someone randomly buys that dungeon like down the road for $10, like buys the key in the Sony store or the Steam store or something like that, they're going to have no idea what's going on. And also, it's one of the first dungeons that is like multifaceted in terms of like it has a specific goal for you of like get this like ring the bell, do the thing, put the mechanic in the thing, and hit the boss like 3 times. And it feels like super repetitive. Like they'll add a couple different things here and there, but it's the same like concept over and over again. But then there's things like Shattered Throne that kind of compares to it, where you have to like dunk the thing and then hit the boss. But then there's Pit of Heresy. Pit of Heresy will always stand out to me as like, or even Prophecy.
That's
Pit of Heresy and Prophecy stand out to me as like I think that was like I think that was one of the first videos I saw from you. Actually, was you like flawlessing Pit of Heresy? Solid was like like that right there. Like Pit of Heresy and Prophecy exemplify how to carry on mechanics without it being repetitive. Because Prophecy specifically, you legit do almost everything differently each time, but still use those mechanics. Versus with duality, it feels like you doing the same dang thing with the same dang amount of ads. Granted, do I enjoy the ad density of duality compared to other dungeons? Yes, the ad density is great, but does it feel like you can kind of steamroll or ignore the ad density occasionally? Yeah, so it's why like it feels too forced to grab that stuff. And also the loot pool is so weird because it prioritizes armor more than the weapons most of the time. And it did the same thing with Grasp of Avarice, where it has like one gun in the first encounter, one gun in the second encounter, and then like the whole roster for the third encounter. And it's just like, I hate that kind of structure. You should be able to go to one encounter and grind for that one specific gun, or like at a 2 or 3 of the specific gun, and not hate yourself. So that's why I don't enjoy duality or grasp as much, because if I want to chase 1,000-yard stare or Eyes Luna, I gotta sit in that boss for like 5 days.
Do not mention IS Luna.
I got my god roll like my second time doing that dungeon, and I got my god roll, and I was like, thank God.
Like
So
freaking Matador, I still haven't got my god roll because it has a 10% drop rate.
I wish I could throw all the
I will
ones
say this
get
about
to you.
duality is one of my favorite dungeons. I
Poor soul.
I like the simplicity. I like that it's you do go. It's just I like the way it's structured. For me, it works perfectly for how I like to do things. Like how it works well with my brain. And the loot in that dungeon has some of the most fun, unique loot in a dungeon. You have Storm Chaser, 3 burst linear. You have the Unforgiven SMG, which can roll with Demolitionist in the 3rd column. You can do some interesting builds with that, as well as Repulsor Brace, which is, if you haven't used that perk yet on a Void build, give it a try. It is very fun.
I was thinking about using it too.
It's worth a try. New Purpose, the Pulse Rifle, is a very good PvP because it rolls with Desperado and Tunnel Vision tag those together, and you got a great gun after you get one kill.
Hot take: Desperado ain't shit.
It's not a hot take. That's a cool take.
Damn,
Yeah,
alright.
no, I like.
I've been saying for
Desperado.
years that Desperado is trash, and then like I even had people in my comments today that were trying to say that full auto retrofit wasn't trash, and I'm like, are you dumb? Like legitimately, full auto and Desperado are dumb perks, and they defeat the purpose of what a pulse rifle is supposed to be. Like if you
Yep.
wanted an auto rifle, just say that and buy an auto rifle. Dumb.
But before they nerfed Desperado, I used to love it, but then they nerfed it. I'm like, throw it away. I don't want it no more.
And on top of that, there's the fixed odds machine gun, which is
I'm so sick of getting
which
those
rolls
things.
with incandescent.
Commemoration is better.
I want to get one with incandescent, craftable, like enhanced incandescent, so bad because
That sounds so terrifying.
I already
that's
have
the
one.
point. That's the point. It's supposed to be terrifying.
Like just a machine gun that has explodable rounds sounds like so terrifying.
Yes. I'm trying to remember if I'm missing any guns.
No, you got everything. So like I think that's my big issue that duality is a mixed bag where some people adore it and some people just like vehemently hate it.
I think Bungie gave
will say,
murder
though-
hobos too many opportunities in that dungeon because I have friends that are murder hobos and I have been sent to hell for no reason other than ha 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 you weren't in the circle. And then I don't get rezzed and they just run ahead. So then I wait till they're almost.
They're talking to me. They're specifically
Oh
talking
no!
to me.
I have one person in mind, and he killed both me and the other hunter. So I rezzed and didn't do anything, and I waited till he was almost at the next boss room, and then I killed him and.
Yeah, it was me.
No, I did it.
It was
I
literally
did it
me.
to King. King did it to me first, and then you did it afterwards, and I was like, "All right."
Like,
What
cause,
else?
like
Shattered
literally,
Stone.
you did that exact situation to me. But no. So it's a mixed
Jade
thing.
did it to
But
me.
like that. So then there's the issue of Master King's Fall this week.
Oh boy, I've been doing my research
Ooh.
into
Haven't
that.
done it, but I've heard it's not worth
I wasn't
it.
able to run it. I haven't been able to run it.
I ran it, and I stand by my statement of what I said because, and also I stand by my statement of my like super popular TikTok video that came out a while back, where there is, unless you really want adept mods on your guns, there is no reason to or you want the seal, there is no reason to set foot in that room. And I will die on the hill. It's because they made the weapons craftable. And people can complain about that all they want about like, oh, it's a dumb take or whatever the hell. But like Bungie flat out has shortened the hamster wheel of the content and made it not worth it now. There's no reason to go in there to chase loot. There's no reason to go in there. Especially because like to this day, I even told Toll yesterday, there's still people every time Vault of Glass is in rotation who start fire teams and LFGs to farm Fatebringer time lost because they haven't got it yet. There's still people chasing a Found Verdict time lost or a Hazen Vengeance time lost. Like there's or even now because of the scout rifle, but there's people chasing the time lost scout rifle. So like there's a reason to chase that loot because it's not craftable, because that loot is worth their time. The hamster wheel hasn't been shortened there. Versus with Master King's Fall, the base weapons are craftable and the enhanced perks in almost every situation are better. So like they didn't even like give you the season of the triumph the season of the triumph armor from D1 in the master version. They gave us the herald weapons, but they didn't give us the armor. So like, what we
Now,
doing?
Here, I have a few different solutions that it's like not even solutions. Bungie made a hard mode raid when they didn't have champions. Just bring that back. Why couldn't they have brought that back? That people would have been happy with that, and you throw out champions on top of that. Great.
Or
But
just
now,
take champions out of raids, period.
Yes, agreed.
that too.
I think champions are okay in master versions, but like champions in base raids are stupid. Like the anti-barriers in Garden or like the unstoppables in King's Fall. It feels
That
like you're
one
forcing a
unstoppable
champion.
ogre. It's
Well, and
it's
apparently now
only-
there's 3 unstoppable ogres in the Totem's
Totem.
Master.
Ugh.
So like It feels like you're throwing something here that didn't need to exist when you could have just made a powerful enemy. Like, the champion don't really affect much, dog. Just make it a stronger enemy that does more damage but doesn't make it a bullet sponge. Like, you can achieve both.
As someone who did Master Vow for the title, and I'm very close to getting it, I don't think that Master Raids should just be match game shields and champions. And I saw Sticky's video talking about how that's pretty much all they did for Master King's Fall. So I probably, unless I'm chasing the title, probably won't be pursuing the Master King's Fall.
And it's like, they could have added in the other 3 weapons from King's Fall in the Master, and just made that the Master exclusive to make it so there's something to chase there.
Because they did the same thing with Vogue, where Vogue only had certain weapons from D1 come back. If they would throw those weapons in only in the Master version, that would be so smart. Especially if they went, hey, here's the Season of the Triumph armor, and here's these 3 weapons we forgot to put in. That would make it so worth it. And yet they didn't.
Wait a second. King's Fall had other weapons than what we had?
Mm-hmm. So did Vault of Glass.
Huh? I know about Vault of Glass, but wait a minute.
Yeah, there was like an auto rifle and a couple and a sniper. Right. No snipers there. It was like an auto rifle and something else, and like a rocket launcher. They got a rocket launcher.
Yeah, you're right. Cause the rocket launcher had the shape of a shark, and the auto rifle was shit. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So, like, if you actually made those weapons worth people's time and made them like strong, it would be a reason to chase that shit. So it feels like, and especially when Clyde, GXR Clyde made the video saying that like Totem's master is just rocket launcher Aeon's, it's like Aeon Safe Simulator. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like they like just shoot a thing with rockets and move on.
There was an auto rifle, a shotgun, and a rocket launcher.
We didn't get a shotgun. I forgot about.
Yeah, it was called Silence of
Aran, something like that. It looked pretty nasty too.
Yeah. They had the Elysium's Frenzy, the rocket launcher, and Anguish of Dry Stan auto rifle. They did not bring back.
Like, do you know how smart that would be to literally give certain certain guns for the master content? Like, that would have people chase them for years out of that.
Right.
Like, they really missed it. That's such a smart idea. I don't know why we didn't think of that sooner.
It's like, it gives you a reason to go after master. Even with craftable weapons, the way to solve that is you can still make them craftable, just they can't come with the raid perks. So if you want like a bait and switch cataclysmic, you have to grind for it.
You can't get it from the crafter. That's so smart.
But it's like, what do you think, Solid?
I think what they should have done, if they were gonna put craftable weapons in the raid, make it just the hard mode raid only. Don't put in the normal raid.
Ooh. Okay.
That way you can get your adept, throw your adept mods on and craft your mods at the same time. That would I honestly think they should do, but they not.
See, I feel like the issue with that would be is like, as great of an idea as that is, that then opens the door for people to complain that people are gatekeeping loot. But then again, Bungie already gatekeeps loot with things like GMs and trials, so I guess it would work. So like, it could work. That's actually a really good idea. Good job. Hell yeah. Solid.
You're like, I want to get the shotgun. I don't want to play trials.
See, I don't want to talk about trials and shotguns right now because I spent 1,500 freaking legendary shards this week trying to get that new shotgun when I unlocked it, and I still didn't get the roll I wanted. Like that, there should be a safety in terms of like certain roll combinations. 'Cause I got multiples of the same roll combinations in certain cases. There should be like a safety of like, hey, you don't get that roll combination after like 2, and you get the roll you're looking for after a certain point. Because RNG's was dirty, especially when you're chalking that much material into a focusing. That's just wrong. Like 1,500 shards for 15 guns. Like that was a lot. I'm still upset about that shit. But that shotgun, because I did get one that was pulse monitor opening shot. I want a perpetual motion opening shot. That thing is dirty. Like if you could hit your shots the way you could hit a chaperone shot, sexy. I love that thing. Like that thing. Like if I get a time in a depth version, motherfuckers better look out.
So I
haven't stepped foot in the trials since what beginning of no, when was that good not SMG but the Scout Rifle came out? When was that?
Aisha's was 2 seasons ago, I think.
Well, that's the last time I played trials.
Fair.
So I got curious because I couldn't remember, and I went to see what the differences in the D1 regular and hard mode King's Fall is, and it sounds almost like they just gave us the hard version for regular King's Fall, so they kind of shot themselves in the foot and didn't give themselves a whole lot of places to go besides having to come up with completely new stuff. So like hard mode War Priest is supposed to be deadlier, shoots tracking bolts and earns new attacks each time he dissolves a pillar. They gave him the full arsenal going in for D2. In Golgoroth, Unstable Light was the hard mode thing, which they just threw in. They threw that into regular Daughters. I think it says that in hard mode, the timer immediately begins for the second run, so there's no point in keeping the first daughter alive. So it's kind of the strat we already tried to do, except for we just run a whole other phase instead of immediately jumping across and killing the second daughter.
Right. And what I find even funnier about that is like I love how Bungie today released a patch where they said, "Hey, we're gonna make rocket launchers do less damage to daughters," and then rocket launchers pretty much do the same amount of damage to daughters.
As soon as I saw that, I saw Clyde's TikTok about it, and it was just, yeah, no, we're good.
You know, like the same damage.
So I'm thinking, shout out to All Might again. He said that they might have just changed their classification from vehicles to normal bosses.
But see, All Might made me mad though, because like he came in like swinging into the Discord. He's like, "Yo, I just did it this morning. It's rockets are fine." I'm like, "Bro, they just released the patch like seconds ago." I'm like, "Bro, like Clyde made a video after the patch went live. You legit going?" I just like it was just funny, but so yeah, I really feels like King's Fall is a letdown specifically because that shit be craftable at base level, and Solid had a good idea. So props to Solid. So I think I'm gonna wait for the Bungie lawsuit because the Bungie lawsuit feels like a whole can of motherfucking worms.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Especially because of what happened today with Sweatcicle of like now people like the companies trying to poke at him about it. I'm gonna leave that alone until more develops because that sounds like a whole ass can of worms.
All I'm
gonna say is Game Junkies, cheating is illegal. You can suck my ass. Like that's all I'm gonna say.
No, if you're hacking and I play a game, I play Dead by Daylight. That game has a major hacking problem right now.
Yes, it does.
And I'm not touching it because of it.
Well, no, like here, I will give a baseline since we brought it up. That's all I'm gonna do.
So let's see how they said they were gonna
so
leave it alone,
Bungie
and
sued.
now they're not leaving it alone.
Yep, I love it.
It's a problem. But like, I'm gonna give a brief overview. We're not giving no other opinions. We're leaving it alone because we have to get the listener question. But like, so Bungie sued a cheat developer because of them making cheats for their game, and then their argument in court was cheating isn't illegal. And from what I've been able to figure out recently, the company is starting to countersue for Bungie going into the code of the cheat to figure out what it did because like I think someone bought it or something that way they could look at it. And I'm like, you really stretching. Like you're really stretching to be able to keep making cheats for somebody else's IP. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so like as we've been talking about recently, we are gonna keep doing listener questions because we want to get feedback from folks who want to like answer people's questions. And we sadly Yukon from our clan wanted us to talk about the lore for this week, but Priz didn't do the mission. So I blame Priz.
I can leave.
You're throwing.
No, you're not leaving. It's fine. We'll cover it next week because more stuff will develop. But like so UConn, we like honestly, UConn just needs to come on the show to talk about lore. So like she could do that then. But the one question that we did get, and we kind of touched on it last week, but now that we have another hunter to stand on the hunter side of the table, we can talk about it again, which is how does every class stand when it comes to like the end game content now in terms of raids, in terms of like grandmasters, like or in just in PvP in general? Like where does each class stand? And I want to give the hunters the floor specifically because the hunters got the shaft in terms of like PvE for the longest time, and I want to like say from from Beyond Light to now. How have y'all felt when it comes to like raids and PvE content?
I feel like I'm loved and valued as a hunter
It's
now,
not just me.
and I love it. At first, before all the changes, it was like, "Why you bringing a hunter to the raid? We don't need you. We got bubble. We got whale. We don't need you. What your teller gonna do? No, we don't need you." But now, oh, you got a hunter? Yeah, just go and put on Star Eater scales and Gathering Storm. Yeah, I feel love now. I love it.
Okay.
Happy hunters are finally getting use in endgame content.
Hey, let the hunter speak. Let the hunters on the floor.
I'm just happy that
What do
hunters
you
are
mean?
getting more use.
That's
Praise the-
very
praise-
awesome.
Tulsa
Chris
Titan
talk.
main, that's why.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I'm like me and Toll the Titan main. So I'm like, let the hunters have their 5 minutes of fame. It's fine.
5 minutes.
We gotta take what we can get. I feel like I went off on my soapbox last week about the whole hunters not really measuring up when I went on my whole Lorelei spiel. I do think that hunters are starting to become relevant again, but I don't think it was from Beyond Light until now. I think it's like in the last 2 seasons, maybe even just this season.
Well, no, I was saying Beyond Light till now, like as like even like how he was saying of y'all didn't do shit back then. Like how what has been the change like from Beyond Light
Oh, it's
to
nice.
now?
I still from time to time hear why are you on a hunter, but I don't hear it as often anymore, which is nice to be able to play the character that I'm most comfortable in instead of having to struggle with a Titan or a Warlock trying to do like the jumps on Vow on the outside of the building, like. So it's nice to feel valued and like I have a place in a raid now, but I really only think it's been like this last season or so.
Okay. From a Warlock perspective, I'm gonna like speak in third person because honestly, I don't play Warlock that much, other than like a little bit of GMs. Like specifically during season 15 onward, I think from a PvP and a PvE standpoint, Warlocks are the only class that is relevant in terms of stasis. I feel like both Hunters and Titans have been nerfed into the ground because of like when it comes to stasis so much. Because I agreed with what Falcon said last week of it wasn't Shattered Dive's fault. It was the physics of the ice crystals combining with the Shattered Dive that were the problem, similar to the Titan Ice Slide that got nerfed into the ground. So that was a big issue there, and Titans just got murked when it came to their nerf. But Warlocks are the most diverse and still are able to use stasis, both in PvP and PvE, to the point that Bungie has still yet to do anything. They tried to touch the turrets, but like they even then messed up and gave them an exotic with to make more turrets with osmiomancies. So like if anything, stasis warlocks are so meta for endgame content, it's not even funny. I think from a Titan perspective and from a warlock perspective, the well and bubble nerfs were just kind of rude and didn't need to happen. But
Is this you
is what it
speaking as
is.
a bubble Titan?
Well, no, because I remember I think that, like the whole like destroying the sword thing, or just the making the well give you resistance, not a over shield is kind of a big ding to them, but it does kind of like check the warlock's privilege of now you need to get my bubble, motherfucker. But like, the bubble caught a big nerf too. Like, granted, they did it in the need of it's the fastest recovering super, especially in PvP, because like before Void 3.0, a Nova Bomb couldn't touch a freaking bubble, but now Blade Barrage, Nova Bomb, whatever the hell else can kill a bubble, and you're just kind of like, well, I guess that's it. And it just sucks. So, like, and as someone who did Bubble Titan before Void 3.0, and then you have people complaining that you're just bubbling things, and it's just like, shut up. Like, let me do my thing. So that's me. But, and that was like, but like from a Warlock perspective, I think Void and Arc still really didn't get any like changes for end game PvE. Like, there's the pants they got with Witch Queen for like for Devour, but otherwise, you know, Arc and Void are still kind of dinged hard for Warlock. That's how I feel about that. Dole, do you have any input for Warlock?
Especially in like end game content, it's like, okay, Warlock, you're on well, and it's like you don't get a choice of what super you want to run. It's like you can't run a DPS super. You're kind of locked into being the support character when you play Warlock.
Yeah, like there's a lot of times where like Yukon in our clan, I'm like, honey, I need you to put on well, and she's just like, bruh. I'm like, bro, like, what do you want from me? Like, you kind of have to do it. Like, I don't know what you want me for.
Warlocks, we need to have a conversation because your jump is hard to use. The mechanics of how it works, just it's hard to when you're going from a Titan jump that uses kind
He's
of
the best jump in the whole game.
Cap on the field.
Has sort of the same physics, like same style of glide jump. Warlocks, it's more you have to jump at the apex of it to get the right boost, and it's just, man, can I just go up?
Like, and then you, like, especially with base glide, you'll just start like floating into the void, and you're just like, oh well,
here
I'm
I go.
dead. But that's the joke there.
It's just
So yeah,
Warlock jump confuses me.
From an endgame Titan perspective, as someone who isn't sad about Laura Lee getting nerfed anymore, I am still salty about the Ursa Furiosa nerf from a few seasons ago, but I still feel like Ursas have a good place in the meta when it comes to like banner shield, especially for things like this. Like this season, you're gonna see me running Ursa for Glassway a lot because Ursa is OP in Glassway despite the nerf. Bubble Titans are actually gonna be good this season for a couple different GMs in raids because we even saw last night when me, Toll, and a clanmate ran the Master Exodus Crash. I was dropping Bubble every couple seconds because we had one person running well and me running Bubble, and we were just feeding each other orbs. And I was able to just drop that shit and protect us and do what we needed to do, but then swap back and forth and have a bubble every couple seconds. So it's a good, like, we're in a good, healthy place with Bubble and Well now, but I still feel like the nerfs were kind of not needed.
Speaking of Exodus Crash, I know they talked about the Crucible maps being weighed. Are the strikes weighed? Because I swear to God, I've done Exodus Crash more than any other strike this week. And then I found out it's the Nightfall, and I was like, no, please. Please!
I don't know.
Anyways, go. Continue.
I don't know. Though the weighing of the maps for PvP has been kind of weird because they want you to do the new stuff, but like they didn't even give a crap about Vostok and Eternity when they came back.
I have fought Thavix more
whatever.
Than any other strike boss this week, and I'm tired of it. I love the Elixni, but please get me out of your stupid Shocky room.
You're gonna hate the GM then.
No.
But like from a GM perspective, I still feel wronged when it comes to Arc 3.0 and PvE because for PvP it's great. Like I like Mason Dame like Dash. I'm over here cranking it, just like having fun, like with the new dodge ability and just beating people's ass. Like it's great. I love having Juggernaut back. It's a great time. But at the same time, other than Spark of Resistance, there's nothing else that really works with a Thunder Crash build, or even like to this day. While they did get a buff, there's not going to be any reason to run Fists of Havoc in a GM. Like, it won't happen. That was my biggest wish, was for Fists of Havoc to do enough damage to be beneficial in a GM setting. and it won't be able to do that, and it sucks. So that's how I feel about that. But like still, and also Solar, and I'll stand by what I said on TikTok about it. Now that Lorelei has been nerfed, other than possibly Phoenix Cradle, Solar is in the worst place possible for Titans because they were so concerned about nerfing things like Bonk Titans because Bonk Titans were stupid and people are still using Bonk Titan and it's ridiculous. And then they worried about like getting rid of Melting Point despite no one even using Melting Point anymore. That the only thing Titans have for Solar is healing. That's all they have, and it's like, why does that matter when the rest of the subclass is garbage? So I really feel like Titans got the raw end of the stick with Solar and Arc from a PvE standpoint, and for Solar just in general. But Void 3.0 was the biggest win for Titans overall, and you definitely gonna see your boy pulling up with the bubble from here until the end of the century. Granted, I was doing that anyway, but that's how I feel about that. Toe.
Look, shout out to all my Bonk Titans. I love you guys. But it's like, what, Bonk Titans are the best, but it's just, there's no point to running Solar. There's nothing there for me. I just run it because I like the subclass. Because I love how they did the rework. While I have my grievances with it, I've found a build that I like running within that, and so I keep wanting to run it to get better at it. Because like for me, Void's never really done it for me, other than like the season when it came out because of the seasonal mods. Those were great. I miss those seasonal mods.
Why can't we have volatile flow as a perk on a weapon instead of the aspect? Like, come on, man.
I don't know, man. Like with how I run my Echo of Expulsion Bubble Titan build, I have my grenade enough that I'm able just to keep
like
my Shire's Wrath proc with volatile round.
Yeah, same here, but it just, that's a different aspect fragment we can have instead of having to have to slot that in. We have it on a weapon.
Right, and especially with things like Incandescent be existing, you would think Void would have gotten a perk that like volatile rounds that would make it worth it. Even if it was on like a cooldown.
Nah, no cooldown. Just madness. We need madness in Destiny.
No more nerfs.
No more nerfs.
We just need madness.
I am anti-nerf. I hate nerfs.
I mean, speak on it. Like that might actually be like a good conversation throwing in the pit since you're here.
Okay. Stop nerfing stuff. Make everything OP. We are space magicians. You can say using space magic. Let us do it instead of nerfing us.
Okay.
That's pretty much the only thing I can say. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, like honestly, I think there's something to be said, especially from a gunplay standpoint and from an ability standpoint, where like they're not consistently doing things across the board. Because I found out recently that the Warlock new melee, if you stand in the trail, it one shot kills you. And then there's things like knives. If you're good at hitting your shot with knives, hunters can one shot kill you. So I really feel like bring back shoulder charge 2022, but like also just it really feels
no.
Hey, you can't say anti-nerf and then want to bitch about that. You can't do that. So like,
give me back my shoulder charge, please.
No.
That's an hypocrisy from Solid. Okay. But no, it feels like there's not a balance going on. They like want some things to be overpowered for a time and not just have certain all guns be good or all abilities be good, but let some things kind of exist above the regular, and it's kind of weird.
I just thought about something. Have you guys played Outriders before?
No, I have not. I've wanted to. I'm thinking about getting into it. I
played the beta.
Okay, so basically in Outriders, there's different trees you can spec into. Like, you can do more. Your powers be doing more damage without relying on your guns. Your guns do more damage without relying on your powers, or just in between doing both. Bungie should do something like that.
I mean, we had trees in D1. That seemed to work decently.
No, I'm not like how they got the trees on saying like have have us be able to focus more on the power side. Let us just be able to use more powers instead of using the weapons. Instead, have like this other set of line we can go down, just using more weapons instead of powers. You know, like that.
Okay,
I had a point I was going to bring up and I completely forgot it.
I dig it.
No,
You're worried about other things that you're discording me about, like a hooligan. Out here worried about Funko Pops on the podcast. Anyway, I sounded like Aztecross there for a second. So one of our other listener questions that we got that I thought was kind of cool was from one of our clanmates who asked if there was one race that you felt needed to get a not Scorn type of upgrade, but a like a Splicer, not Splicer, a like Siva season, or like what kind of upgrade they would get, similar to how we're about to get the Dark Legion Cabal. What race do you think should get that kind of like upgrade for a season or like a long period of time? And I had the best answer. I'm excited about it, but I want to hear what y'all think first.
Hot take. We don't need them more upgrades. Because I hate the Scorn. I hate
They're
them.
technically a subset of Fallout.
You hate
We don't-
So I think they would count. I think they count under.
Yeah, they're like
Fallout.
zombie fallen, which is so weird.
So, hate them.
My thing is, like, I'm gonna ride the My Name is Bife train for a second. Can we make the Vex happen again? Like, I feel like I'm trying to make fetch a thing. Like, can we make the Vex a thing
Please.
again? Like it feels like we only use the Vex at the last resort, because even during Season of the Splicer, the Vex were a tool of the darkness versus them being their own threat. Like, they were a tool from the Taken and Savathun instead of being their own threat. And it felt kind of like a pawn versus them being like a scale. Like Coria should have been one of the baddest bitches on the face of the earth, and I thunder crashed and killed her. That was too much. I needed her to be a multifaceted like dungeon boss. Like I would like I hope next season we get a Vex themed dungeon, because we've never gotten a Vex themed dungeon, and it would be badass if we got a Vex themed dungeon for a whole Vex season before we go to another planet to fight more Cabal. Like, give me Vex shit, damn it.
Put some respect on the Vex's name.
Really though,
Get it.
like the Vex needs some love. I remember Curse of, like, people have their opinions about Curse of Osiris all you want. Fucking Panoptes, that motherfucker had a cool ass design. Like
That
It was
mission was
great,
fun,
but
like
Ugh.
yeah, and like Eater of Worlds was super cool, but like that boss was so fucking tedious. It was a great design, but you could break it so easily. So it's just, they need more stuff like that. Give me more big Vex threats. Like I even said it, I'll even stand by my statement. Bungie, if you're listening to this, give me unstoppable wyverns. I mean it. I want it.
I'm the non-believer.
No, we don't need
all right,
it.
if we're
No.
doing that, then I want unstoppable heavy shanks.
Yes, you stole that from me. That was my idea last night. Unstoppable
we had a
heavy
whole.
shakes
Brandon and I had a whole conversation about this.
was so good. Like I've been saying
And
this
then
for a couple months
for-
now. I'm just like, unstoppable wyverns would be the greatest thing. Like, because all they keep doing with like Master Vogue and Glassway is just making wyverns OP. You could turn regular wyverns down a little bit and then just give us unstoppable wyverns.
And then what did we do for like overloads for Hive?
Overload thralls.
No, not overload thralls. Oh god, that'd be scary as hell.
Overload thralls. Do it, please.
Overload witches. Overload witches.
Yeah,
That would be so cool. Oh, bro, I'm here for like what. Like if you're gonna make Vex a threat, give me because that's my biggest criticism of the Wyverns is they were a great idea. Like they came in swinging with Beyond Light, but then when you do things like Vault of Glass on Master, the Wyverns are stronger than the champions. Like the toughest thing about the confluxes in Vault of Glass's Master encounter of killing the wyverns while they're sacrificing, the wyverns can kill you faster than the champions can. So how about tune down the regular wyverns and give us unstoppable wyverns, Bungie? Like Like, make Vex a threat again. That's all I'm asking. Also, like, if we could get like a master version of Guardian and a master version of Last Wish, that'd be great. Thank you.
What about Master Deepstone?
Ooh, Master Deepstone would be amazing.
Artifice armor for all dungeons.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah,
I
because
like
I
that.
straight up do not take off my Artifice armor arms. Like, I don't touch them.
I haven't used
will make-
Artifice armor in so long.
I specifically make my builds around those arms because they're Artifice armor.
It was so funny. Mans was straight up was getting frustrated that he couldn't get like double 100s on his stats. And I'm like, bro, you could just go to D2 armor picker, right? He's like, but I don't want to take off my Artifice arms. I'm like, bro, stop it. Get some help.
What do you mean? It's one of my best armor pieces.
I mean, we're at the point where like Overload, Unstoppable, and Anti-Barrier cost like 1 energy, dog. You can make the sacrifice.
Yeah, I know, but I like my Artifice armor. I grinded really hard for it.
That's valid.
Can I go back to the enemy question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
If you tell me some simping shit about Fallen, I swear.
No, listen, Linda, sit down. So
I can go simp for Oryx.
So, oh, we can do that. You'll do that without this conversation. So when it comes,
my co-hosts are weird, Solid. Just so you know, they
We're
like to sing
weird.
for alien races.
Excuse me, hi Kettle. This is Pot. You're black.
I sent for orcs.
Hey, I only simp for Zavala, and that man's an Awoken. That's not like he's more human than anything y'all are screwing. So I'm okay.
I'm gonna have you
Indeed.
read those words, and I need you to think back to last week.
What did I said in Destiny. Don't you bring that here. Anyway,
so
boy,
the Fallen from D1 till now, we've had regular Elixni, we've had Scorn, and we've had Siva Splicers. We've had regular Cabal, and then we're getting the new Dark Legion Cabal, and I've seen people complaining about that because it's just another reskin thing. We've seen.
I complained about it like 3 weeks ago.
We've seen multiple, because I'm just laying it all out on the board. We've seen multiple different versions of the Vex, whether it's the precursor Vex, the really leafy boys from the beginning of when the moon came back, or just your regular Vex. And then we have the Taken. The Taken are kind of in their own special category because they belong to Oryx. I would really like to see us get a subset of either Zebu or Wrath enemies. So I don't know if those would be Hive necessarily, like a subset of Hive, or if they would tie into the Taken. I would like to see I guess there is the Awoke, or not the Lucent Hive. So I would like to see like Zebu or Wrath.
We'll never see them again.
Zebu or Wrath enemies, whether those are like new subsets of Taken enemies, which look really cool. Give us a completely new class of Hive enemies, like make them look completely different. You know, give them like a Tormentor kind of twist, or the.
Am I the only one that feels like Sivu or Wrath is like Gibby from iCarly, where like he's stuck in the chimney during iPsycho, and like we've just kind of forgotten about Sivu or Wrath?
Well, Zevo Wrath is there. It's just they haven't done anything with them. They haven't like, other than like Season of the Hunt and a few other instances, we've never had any like big confrontations with.
We still don't even know what she looks like.
That's what I mean. We just had a whole massive expansion based on Savathun. Why can't we get leading to after Lightfall, we do a season where it's Zevo Wrath, and then say the dungeon is the first dungeon after Lightfall is fighting Zevo Wrath. That would be really cool.
I mean, then
we want to kill her. No.
I think they're planning to bring Zebu Wrath into the story because she was such a big part before Savathun escaped. Like Season of the Hunt, that whole thing happened because her influence was going out and infecting the Cabal and causing them to go crazy.
Right.
So I do think Zebu Wrath is going to come full circle eventually. But if we're talking about the enemy archetypes, I would like to see either Zebu Wrath, new enemies, or I would really like to see the Siva splicers make a comeback, because I don't know if y'all remember trying to fight those bitches, but they were tough. And then half the time you're like, yeah, I got a headshot, they're dead. Then you have a cluster of Siva flying at you that's gonna kick your ass.
Right. Like, I feel like they're really waiting. Like, they're really waiting for when they have to bring back Rise of the Machine to make a Siva season. Like, they're like, especially now that Kings Falls out, their only options are to either finally give us Wrath of the Machine next year or start reprising D2 raids. So I really feel like halfway through Lightfall, you're gonna just see Season of the Siva finally, and it's gonna be like every Siva fan is gonna be vindicated, and it'll just be like, all right, cool, that's fine.
Vindication.
And like Siva was created for a different purpose, but it was repurposed by Rasputin to fuck over the Iron Lords. And if he is actually going to make a comeback, like Anna Bray is trying to find him a body, they could tie that all in together, whether not necessarily Rasputin using Siva to turn it against us, but I mean, we have found bits and pieces of Siva from when the Outbreak quest was around. I mean, have him weaponize it to use it against an enemy. Like, there are ways to tie it back into the story.
Or just get him a Siva body.
Oh god. I mean, they could. The whole purpose of Siva was to make it so that you could build and rebuild and repair things very, very quickly.
Right. So like it's possible. But you know, like that's kind of the vibe we got going on. Like I really feel like Unstoppable Wyverns 2022. But like it's fine. But you know that I think this has been a really dope episode. This has gone super well. Like Silent, you've been an amazing guest host.
Stop
it. You are welcome back almost any time. Like what if there's something that you would want to, like, obviously you don't want to shout your stuff out, but like what do you want your closing statement for the episode to be?
I hate the scorn.
All right. I love that. Toll, what do you want your closing statement to be for the episode?
All I'm saying, Oryx looks fantastic.
Jesus, you simp.
Hey, dude, have you not seen HD? He looks so good in 4K.
Oh, not you.
4K
Okay.
Ultra HD.
Yes.
Prismatic, what is your closing statement?
So I know that we talk a lot about taking care of mental health and taking breaks and allowing yourself the grace to do so. Given the events that have been happening recently in my life and in my household, and the fact that on top of being Childhood Cancer Awareness Month for September, it's also Mental Health Awareness Month, I just want to double down on that and take care of your mental health, drink your water, take your meds, eat something, get some sleep, self-care, all that good stuff. If you ever need somebody to lean on, we're all here. I'm here. My inbox is open. I will be the first person to come in and be like, did you drink your water?
I actually did drink my water today. Thank you. Like, they're not kidding. Like, because like I had to have someone do it for me, and they helped me out. So like, especially me finally like starting to see a therapist. Like, take care of yourself this month, y'all. Just take care of yourselves in general. Like, for real. Especially with all the stuff going on in the world right now. Like, take care of each other.
And I know there's a lot of stigma around it, but I mean, I will be the first to admit that I'm medicated. I'm not upset by it because I know it has helped me a lot. So just take care of yourself, kids.
Yeah. My closing statement, besides Unstoppable Wyverns 2022, is Bungie. Yo, storytelling is great. We'll talk about it next week, but y'all really need to not recycle the map 2 weeks after putting a map out. That's what I'm gonna say to that. Also, everybody in general, stop being so elitist about this damn game. Like,
Please.
let people like there's a discussion to be had. Like, if any big streamer wants to come on this podcast and talk about it, that's cool. But there's something to be said about like the balance, how we've kind of expressed of the casuals versus the big time. And we're kind of in that middle ground of, hey, we understand both sides. Let's be in the middle of, let's do a little bit of the work and get a little good, but not like be a dick about it from the get good crowd. Like, we need to start doing that, helping people get better at the game. Just because Bungie doesn't give us always the tools to get as good as we want to, we need to start being better for people.
Yes.
So that's where I believe that. But thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Cosmodrome Radio. We will catch you Starside. Peace out.
See you later,
Bye.
alligator.
Bye.